Hey folks, it's Moxley here and welcome to another edition of TEW2020, the AEW series. You join us now, post AEW Revolution, on the road to our next event, which is yet to be named. But a double helping of Dynamite again for the first and second weeks of March. I'm going to try and make all my pay-per-views at this point of the year be in a position where they're in the fourth week, so we can keep up with the flow of 2 episodes per episode on here. And then onto the pay-per-view as well. It's weird, there's a lot of programs I want for Double or Nothing, but it's just a case of trying to draw programs out or just kind of fill a few angles before we get to that big event in May, because we're going to treat that as if it is a massive deal. So, it's a good show I've got planned here. I'll put the plans in motion for the road to Double or Nothing. And as always, if you enjoy what we do here, a wee thumbs up is deeply appreciated. And we hit the sub button, just drops all these videos into your inbox. Apart from that, if you want to buy the game, links in the description below to the the GDS shop with all the TWs on there. You can get the full game or the demo, which is also on there, which was the beta at one point. But you can play 2 months, January or February, and that will allow you to sample the game and see how you feel. So without further ado, it's time for some Dynamite. Let's go. So today's show is a sellout in Wichita Falls in Texas. We start the show with the AEW World Champion, Hangman Page, in the ring. He's finished with Jon Moxley, he wants to move on, and he wants to have a new challenger for the AEW World Championship. Step forward, a rather confused Matt Hardy. Obviously he's had a few bumps and he's just not really feeling himself. But he's there. We've got Miro, wants an opportunity. Le Champion, the new tag team champion alongside Sammy Guevara, wants an opportunity. And one of the men who lost the tag team championships, Brian Cage, is there as well. They basically all suggest why they should be number one contender. As you would expect, it has been made official. It is going to be a fatal 4-way match tonight. The winner to face Hangman in the next pay-per-view. And that was a 73 rated segment. Hangman's promo was good. Matt Hardy looked lost, which is a shame. Jericho was a star. Hangman done well without a script, but Miro, Cage and Matt all struggled without it. Blame Chris Jericho on that one. He likes to be unscripted, but 73 to open the show. And again, we're getting some new blood into the main event scene. Opening contest was an extremely short matchup. Shayna Baszler defeated Shanna in 4:36 with an armbar. Simple victory for Shayna, fresh off her DQ loss to Nikki Storm at Revolution. Far better in performance than Shanna, just a couple of defeats for her before we let her go. And a pretty vocal crowd were not particularly thrilled to see Shanna either. After this, Shayna Baszler cuts a promo. She just says, "I'm leaving, I'm going to end up doing something I'm going to regret. But after getting your nose in my business yesterday, Heidi Lovelace, you better watch yourself, so I'm going to give you a chance to have your in-ring debut tonight, but when you least suspect it, I'm going to get my hands on you and I'm going to break your arm." So a 64 promo from Shayna Baszler, and she's getting better at her gimmick as well. We then had a decent matchup that saw Tyler Bate defeat Cash Wheeler in 10:28 with a Tyler Driver, 97. A very solid 66 match as we try and get Tyler over a wee bit. Simple, it's just 2 guys that are kind of in that kind of position, mid-card, giving them a good win. Cash Wheeler counting down the days to Dax Harwood's contract's up, and we can try and actually get FTR in. After the matchup, we actually see Claudio Castagnoli backstage, and he says to Tyler Bate, "I was very impressed with your performance today. I would like to give you an opportunity. If you can beat me next week, I'll give you an opportunity down the line for the TNT Championship." So Bate's got to earn it. He's got to beat Castagnoli next week. But if he can do so, he'll get that opportunity for the TNT Championship. So a 72, a very kind gesture from the former Cesaro. We hype package for Chris Statlander, just trying to get her over for the audience. That was just a 29. And her matchup against Penelope Ford saw Statlander win in 6:29. 31. Crowd saw both as jobbers, so we need to get them both over and get the crowd caring about them. And the crowd weren't particularly thrilled with seeing Penelope Ford, but if we give her matches, the member of the Blontourage can certainly get a bit more skilled and then be a threat within our stacked women's division. It may not be stacked in terms of over stars at the moment, but once we work with some of them, I certainly believe we can be in that position. So patience, and we will get there. Somehow, I want to try and get a 100 rated women's match as well this TW. I never done it last year, I got into the 90s. I want to see if I not only get a male one, but a female one as well. Also in the women's division, Heidi Lovelace makes her debut in the ring. Obviously, she had an encounter with Shayna Baszler previously, and she defeated Killer Kelly in 8:54 with Heidi Ho. 24, the crowd not really caring for either. I thought Lovelace would have been a bit more welcomed, but she's not got great overness. We need to work on that. I think she's like half the overness of Shayna and Nikki, so we need to work on that. Both ladies didn't click, which is a bit awkward as well, and she has a few skills just below what her product is looking for. So we'll develop Heidi Lovelace. It's one of the few shows I didn't really work on the pre-show, because we quite a lot of the women on the main show, but we'll continue to use them on the pre-show to give them matches and to hopefully accelerate their development. Obviously I could just get into the editor and edit that, but I want it to kind of happen naturally. I think it'd be a lot more fairer that way, and a lot more rewarding. So if we can have the journey of a struggling women's division and make it thrive, that would be quite delightful. So 24 there. Next up, we had a bit of great heat and good wrestling. Cody defeats Stu Grayson in 7:26 with the Beautiful Disaster. So Grayson from the Dark Order takes on Cody. Cody sustained turf toe, so we'll see how long that takes him out for. Cody benefits from a hot new move, an 81 performance to Stu Grayson's 62, so a 70 rated match. So yeah, we've got plans for Cody for this month. Quite looking forward to it, but we'll see how that injury affects him, if it is going to be something that's just a short term. It was a wild brawl match, so that is going to cause a few issues, and the injury probably put it down from about a 74. So good one for Cody, who is getting over and over by the week. Thanks, Dustin. Next up, we had some tag team action. It was the team of Santana and Ortiz, Proud and Powerful, defeated Motor City Machine Guns in 10:30 when Ortiz pinned Alex Shelley. This was a 69. Much better performance from Ortiz and Santana, despite Ortiz being off his game. If I'm being perfectly honest, this match should be a pay-per-view matchup, but our tag division is so stacked, it's a regular Dynamite match. But I'm hoping when we go either 2 brands or 3 hours, we can get the Guns in a good winning run and just have some absolutely magical pay-per-view matches. But at the moment, Proud and Powerful is who will be pushing, and they get the win in this match. And after the matchup, we got to their Inner Circle friends, Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho, and they basically say, well, Chris, Sammy, it's good you have became the AEW Tag Team Champions and that the belts are in Inner Circle, but what the hell are we going after? That's what we want. You're in our way. Don't make us split up the Inner Circle just because you're the Tag Team Champions. So I think maybe one day Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara should maybe put those titles in the line. Jericho's kind of a wee bit antsy about it. He's like, guys, I've got this World Championship qualifier. I could become the #1 contender. We'll deal with it next week. Just for now, just let me be. So that's a 72. That leads us into that matchup, which was absolutely awful, which is worrying. About had great heat and decent wrestling. We had Miro defeat Matt Hardy, Chris Jericho and Brian Cage in 14:10 when Miro submitted Matt Hardy. Matt was a weak link here. 58 was terrible. 66 for Miro, 46 for Matt, 61 for Jericho and a 70 for Brian Cage. There's storylines in place for Matt Hardy. There's something roughly in place for Chris Jericho. Miro versus Hangman. I've not done much with Miro since they signed, and I just feel like he's not quite a double or nothing contender, but he's someone we can work with and build him up. Brian Cage, I think, still got a wee bit to go, but 58 for that. And then the wee confrontation between Miro and Hangman leads to a 79 rated segment, but it's those kind of segments which will help get Miro over, and I feel like him and Hangman, with the way their attributes are, could go towards a very good matchup at the pay-per-view. And if Jon Moxley cut a promo on MJF, he just says, right, tonight I've got Frankie Kazarian in the main event. And if you even try and get near me in this match, MJF, I'm going to absolutely kick your ass. I haven't forgotten you were trying to challenge me for my championship. Now I don't have it and you still want it in my way. I'm just going to inflict pain on you. You're not going to make your name off of me. So 87, that becomes our strongest promo. So if we can get a good main event matchup, we should be in a good position to gain pop. Will they click? I'm pretty happy with that. Fantastic heat, great wrestling. Moxley defeats Kazarian in 14:04 with the double arm DDT. 80 rating, we've got to keep Moxley winning on television. Kazarian's a very game opponent in the main event. 92 plays 58, and that matchup was also a steal the show matchup. And the end of the show, as you would expect, beat down to Moxley. MJF and Wardlow both come down, and they both beat down the former champion and stand above him while MJF kisses his ring. So 83. It's even segments like this can help get Wardlow over as well, but delighted with that we can finally go Moxley versus MJF. And the show itself gets a 79, increased their pop in 23 regions, so I don't think we gain much in the States, but elsewhere, pretty happy with that. And a couple of good promos. You can just see by that how important Jon Moxley is, not even as champion, but still just one of the main guys in the company. So we'll take a wee look at the screen here, see if there is anything. Cody is out for a week, so that's fine, he'll be fine for the event. We actually tried to bring in Dan Engler, Rudy Charles, so it's a shame we never got him in as another ref. Peyton Royce is out for a few weeks as well. So, Rudy Charles has extended his contract, we know about that one, and Helico now resides in the southeast. Jon Moxley says Chris Statlander needs to learn to sell, and our 2.69 for our TV rating as well. And we obviously know about Cody injury. So, medical wise, we are just missing Shima, Cody and Britt Baker. I'm going to go ahead and find out what we're going to call the event, so we'll have an idea what the pay-per-view is going to be called before the end of this episode. But that was week 1. Let's crack on with week number 2. So here we are with the second episode of Dynamite from the Tony and Nancy Moy Football and Lacrosse Complex. So something a little bit different there. Just under 9,000 fans in attendance. This show only has 13 segments. It does, however, have 6 pre-show matches, so after ditching Dark, I've just decided let's just make a lot of pre-show matches, give people chances to gain momentum, and at the same time try and hone their wrestling craft. So we start off with a pre-show bout. We didn't have a lot of heat and terrible wrestling as the Butcher and the Blade defeated the Strong Hearts, El Lindaman and T-Hawk in 6:59 when the Butcher pinned El Lindaman. A 45, I've still to take Tully Blanchard away from the Butcher. Gotta love those mistakes. But as I say, it's all part of the process of developing the Butcher and the Blade. T-Hawk and El Lindaman actually have better in-ring performances. Obviously they are far more well-rounded. But they, well, especially in the case of El Lindaman, has got age on his side, and the Butcher and the Blade's just somebody that's going to get a kind of push for the next couple of months, maybe even to the next year. So the win here for the Butcher and the Blade in a 45 rated match. Next up, we had Ricky Starks defeat Marco Stunt in 6:44 with a Buster Keaton. A 47, it's just a case of getting Ricky over. He's only got 26 overness across the board in the US. So gradual progression with that. Marco Stunt's someone that we can put over, and he's quite happy. Marco's about 40 odd overness, so he's going to fulfill that role quite well. 47 rated matchup, because obviously it doesn't take into account Marco's size in this game. Next up, we had Peter Avalon losing to Joey Janella in 8:24 with a moonsault foot stomp. This was a 48. It's just a case of giving matches to Peter Avalon to try and get that crowd turned around. Continuing on with the losing streak, he's not won yet, and neither has Brandon. So we'll try and stretch it out for as long as we can, basically. So 48, good win for the bad boy, Joey Janella. Continuing on with pre-show action, and actually a match well worthy of being on the main show, and it saw Private Party defeat the Hybrid 2 in 9:20 when Isaiah Cassidy defeated Angelico, Angelico being the weak link. A 69 rated matchup, everyone with great performances. I just need to give Angelico just something to get him kind of up to Jack Evans' level, so the Hybrid 2 can do something. But it's probably a team that, personally, I've not watched a lot myself. I know about them, but just obviously I know who they are, but they've never really wrestled in promotions that I've watched. I think I saw like vague stuff of Jack Evans when he was in Lucha Underground, so it's going to be a good opportunity when things are back to normal, if they're back to normal by the time this goes live, to see more of the hybrid too, and more of their characters, most importantly. On to women's action, and we had Riho team up with Hikaru Shida, and they defeated Indy Hartwell and Nyla Rose in 7:38, when Riho pinned Indy Hartwell with a jumping knee attack. Indy's a wee bit off compared to the rest, but in comparison she's got a lot of time to grow. I think she's only like 21 or 22, so she's basically developing on the job. She's someone that would probably benefit if we had the development company, but a 49 rated matchup is still pretty good at this moment in time. And finally on the pre-show, it was a six-woman tag actually, and we had the team of the Blontourage, Ashley Lane, Penelope Fordinale, defeating Deonna Purrazzo, Chris Statlander, and Yuka Sakazaki in 7:35 when Ashley Lane defeated Sakazaki with a shining Yakuza kick. Ashley's obviously the most over in this match by far, as shown with her being head and shoulders above the rest. Still working and getting the likes of Deonna, Penelope and Ali accepted. Again, matches will develop skills and then the crowd will hopefully take them on. Quite a stacked show, and that's only the pre-show, just kind of booking Dark and then going to scratch again to book Dynamite. So yeah, we're basically just going to have a lot of pre-show matches going forward. So at the show we start with Cody. It's an interesting promo from Cody. He says there was so much going on, he wants to keep pushing and pushing going forward, so despite the fact they said they weren't going to do it, there will be an AEW authority figure unveiled at the next pay-per-view, which I've already forgotten the name of. And I've done it, I've created it, it's all in there. Starfall maybe? I think it's Starfall actually, we'll double check that. I'll go to my events and hang after we go to the main screen. But anyway, the authority figure will be announced there, and the authority figure is going to come with two major announcements. So a 79 rated promo from Cody. So next up was a bout that had some good heat and decent wrestling, with the number one contender Miro take on Shawn Spears, and he wins in 6:40 by submission with the Accolade. Both guys have great chemistry together, which is good to see. Unfortunately, Shawn Spears was off his game in this particular matchup. A 67 rated matchup's pretty good though, as it gives Miro some momentum going forward. After the match, he cuts a wee promo on the champion Hangman Page. That was a 67 rated segment, just really saying he's came to AEW, he wants to be a world champion, he's going to take that belt off of the Hangman, he's going to go through every one of his cronies if that's what it takes to become the main man here. Next up, with a bout that didn't have a lot of heat, terrible wrestling, is Heidi Lovelace defeated Jamie Hayter in 7:22 with a Heidi Ho. Just a 30, crowd not really caring for both workers, but we have to get them over, especially the one we're focusing on at the moment, Heidi. Again, having to develop her skills with the crowd not being particularly thrilled by either. But the win for Heidi gives her that victory, the first televised win of her All Elite Wrestling career. And after the matchup, she basically says she's been sick and tired of watching Shayna Baszler, no matter where she's went, which company she's been with, just sitting bullying talents. And it's time, that she's going to help stand up against her. So if Shayna's there, she'll be ready for her to give her a fight. So 40 rated segment for that. The end of the match had great heat and good wrestling. Cody back in action as he took on Evil Uno. He wins in 10:56 with a Crossroads. This was a 71 rated matchup, and 82 played a 51 in terms of in-ring performance. Cody's been an absolute fire recently, apart from his low morale. Interesting, Chris Sabin was the road agent, and a successful one at that. But it basically leads to a confrontation between Cody and Darby Allin. Now, how I would sum this one up is basically Cody's just heading to the back, the Dark Order comes out for Darby's matchup, and Darby's just like, the hell is this guy? You've just beat one of our members, so now he's out, Brody's out, or Mr. Brody Lee's out, Priscilla's out, and they've joined the likes of Grayson, Reynolds, Silver, who are obviously already there with Evil Uno. So he's a bit like you beat him, but I don't think you're getting any further with the Dark Order. So an 80 rated segment. Cody was a star. But what I like out of this as well is having paired them together as manager, excellent chemistry between Darby and Priscilla. So the games that added that in, obviously they are husband and wife in real life, so that it just adds that wee bit more kind of authenticity towards it, so that's quite cool. Darby gets his final match up against Orange Cassidy. He finally just wants rid of Orange, and they blow off that feud between those two in particular. And a superb matchup as Darby Allin beats Orange Cassidy in 10:44 with a coffin drop. A spectacular 81. I'm delighted with that. I was quite shocked at that. 84 performance for Darby Allin, a 69 for Orange Cassidy, as that'll be the end of their little feud. You'll probably notice as well, it doesn't pop up storyline continue very often. See, because I'm not having strict storylines on, just kind of no using them. I'm just kind of keeping everything in my head, everything in notepads. I would normally say, obviously, you can benefit massively from storylines and the win and loss from it, but I'm all noticing with some booking, especially with Cody, just booking him strongly has gained massive pop gain, so it can work when you're not using storylines, as long as you have strict storylines cut off. Next up was Sex Gods cut a promo on Proud and Powerful, and I've just basically said, right, it's cool, you want your opportunity, we'll give you a match up, you don't want to swap in a circle, but once and that's it. If you don't win, these are now the champions, but we've been the boys together for a long time. As I say, if it keeps everything good in the inner circle, then I'll happily give that match up. So an 81 rated promo. Jericho stealing the show there was fantastic. And the match itself was a 72 rated matchup, and it was about, it had great heat and good wrestling as the Sex Gods drew with Proud and Powerful in 14:30 following a double disqualification. The match was effectively thrown out as we saw Jacob Fatu start beating up Chris Jericho in the ring and Brian Cage attack Ortiz. So the Titans, the former champions, beating up the Sex Gods, beating up Proud and Powerful. So are they looking to try and get their tag team championships back? Bit annoying, we have to do like a false finish or a dusty finish anyway with AEW, but no, it makes sense in the grand scheme of things. So that'll carry on. And in the agreed match from last week, about that had good heat and decent wrestling, Tyler Bate defeats Claudio Castagnoli in 17:36 with a Tyler Driver. This was a 63 rated matchup. Both guys with similar rated performances. If I'm being perfectly honest, Claudio popped up and said he was happy to put Tyler over, so I had to kind of utilise that. Obviously, we are going to be penalised a wee bit for the face-heel combination, even though it's loosely enforced. But still pretty happy with that. And yeah, they'll have a fight either next week or at the pay-per-view. I'm unsure where I'm going to go with it for the TNT Championship, but they will definitely have a match-up again for that belt. And basically after the match-up, a nice sign of respect and a handshake from the champion to his opponent. A 71 rated segment for that. And I finished the show with our main event, which I was hoping would do a wee bit better. An exceptional matchup saw the team of Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega and Austin Creed defeat the Death Triangle of Pac, Pentagon and Rey Fenix in 17:45 when Moxley pinned Rey Fenix with the Death Rider. Austin Creed, the weakest link here with a 61 compared to everyone else, over 80, which is quite crazy. Pac with a 94, spectacular. So yeah, I'm trying to get Austin up to Kenny's level, but it's just not quite happening at the moment. But a good main event anyway. 78 is not too bad. I did hope that would push to an 83, 84, but we should be looking at about a 78 if I'm being honest. So we've had some good matches, some good promos to go with the way the product's judged, and a 77. So close enough. Creaser pop in 21 regions. I feel the show was okay. It's probably not one of my stronger shows, but we've booked basically getting people to develop in the pre-show, and in this kind of show we've talked about in a 40 figure, we've talked about some in a 40 figure bringing change, we've progressed Miro versus Hangman, Shayna versus Heidi, teasing something between Cody and Darby, continuing with Sex Gods and the Titans, the TNT division, yeah, just try to find whatever's next for John. Moxley. So we'll jump back in here. I'm sure I called it Starfall because I wanted something close to Starcade, and I don't know why Starfall came into my mind. Honestly, I have no idea. So New Japan are looking to the future. They've done New Japan Cup. NXT was a look at that. Struck gold. Adam Cole, main performer. Dynamite, excellent as well. Good to see. Ring of Honor. So a lot of wrestling on one night. Maybe we should move nights. Maybe look to that down the line. Marty Scurll with a new catchphrase. We are trying to bring in 2 more WWE guys because that's what I seem to do, is just keep signing people. But we're going to try and bring in Marcel Barthel so we can bring in, if we can get Axel Dieter Jr. We're also looking to bring in Eli Dragunov. I think that one should be a lot easier. Barthel might be tricky, but if we can get Dragunov, it's just going to give me more for what I'm looking to build. Drug testing was 6,000 and we got up to 2.70. So in terms, let's go to Company Wars. So in terms of size, it's how close we are to getting to big. But most importantly, what I wanted to show here was the top 100, 2.70. It's actually one of our 4th best show ever in terms of rating. I want to try and crack that 2.72. So just confirm. I went with Starfest, sorry. So Starfest is the event. We'll move Double or Nothing back so we can keep the fluidity of the episodes. But that's fine. Obviously we'll have a pay-per-view in between in April. And the other thing I wanted to check, if I can remember where to go for it. Is it battles? No. I can't remember where it is I'm looking for. I will find it. I guarantee as soon as I finish this video, it is what I'll find. But it's because I don't delve into it too often. That's fine. We'll leave it there. I'll have a wee look and I'll report back on what I was looking for in the next. There we go. So there you go. 3rd rated show. So NXT was just a wee bit more than his. Yeah, in fact, you can actually see there. New Japan way out in front, obviously. NXT, Dynamite, and ROH all pretty much in the same playing field. So I don't know if it's maybe worth moving to another day. What I wanted to actually check was what other shows are on at this time in terms of, you were getting all around the world. I'll find it by the time this video goes live, don't worry, so don't need to hamper on in the comments section where it is because I'll have found that it's just the joys of a live com. But anyway, we're in a battle, we'll see what happens. Thanks always for watching, and I hope you join us next week for another 2 episodes of Impact, including Impact. Uh-oh, wrong company. You can tell what I've been watching recently for Dynamite, and as I say, on the road to Starfest. So thanks for watching, take it easy, see you soon, bye bye.